Hello everyone, this is take 4 of Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot, days 20 through 26. I am Rosemary and you're at goodjourneystarot.com is my website. I would like to start with day 20, which is the Lover's card. I looked at a lot of cards online and in my collections, and I come to the conclusion that it's vital for me that the card not only show people in love, but that it shows you the idea of choice. Um, and so, with that in mind, there are some older decks which have three people in the cards, and it looks like one is trying to choose between the other two. Those are awesome. I don't have any of those. This card from the Slow Tarot, and I swear I will get this right one day, to me exemplifies another fact about the lovers, and that is that we choose to immerse ourselves in someone and then we overlook other things. So we have to be careful with the choices we make. These guys are totally entranced with one another and are just missing the fact that the house is on fire behind them. But that's not the card I chose for my favorite. My favorite ended up being the Golden Thread Tarot, as much for the aesthetic as for the content. This is a representation of the Garden of Eden, the idea of choosing to follow rules or not follow rules, to make choices based on our loved ones' desires, that type of thing, as well as it does show us actual lovers, and the choices that they have to make together as well as separately. So I do love this particular interpretation of the Lover's card. So day 21 was your favorite three-card spread, and I don't typically work with three-card spreads. I mean, I can do them, but the majority of my readings are four-card spreads. That is the Eisenhower grid spread, because it's great for almost any situation or any decision. It's something that people use in the business world to prioritize things, and I think sometimes it's helpful to prioritize the information that we're getting from our higher selves through the tarot. So the first card is immediate and important. Those things we need to be aware of right now, in this time and this place. Two are things that are important but not immediate. So this is something we need to keep an eye on, but this is not something that is of concern at this moment. And then you've got the things that are immediate but not important. So in the business world, this would be things that you delegate to other people. In your personal life, these might be things that, they got to get done even if they're not important. Okay? So you might work on those after you get that most important and immediate thing done. The 4 is not immediate and not important, so this is something that you need to be aware of, but it does not have an immediate or important impact on your situation. But it is related to your situation, and you should be aware of it. So that is my favorite spread that I work with almost constantly, and I'll show you that when I talk about my tarot journal in a minute. Day 22 in Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot was your top 5 tarot decks of the decade. I've only been collecting decks since like middle of 2018. So my decks were all shown in day 2 when I talked about decks from last year. And the same goes for my top 5 Oracle decks of the decade. You can refer to day 3 when I talked about my decks for this past year. And the same also goes for books, because I pretty much only started buying books in the last year and a half. So day 8, I covered those books. Up until end of 2018, I had actually been working with LearnTarot.com, which is the website version of Joan Bunning's book, Learning the Tarot. And I worked with that for like 10 years, as well as pulled information from some other websites as well. So I really didn't buy any books, and I used the same deck that entire time. So only really in the last year and a half have I started buying books or collecting decks and that kind of thing to supplement what I've already learned over the last 10 years. And am enjoying that. So day 25, name a tarot creator or author that you would like to meet. Again, this is that whole celebrity thing. It doesn't bother me either way. I'm happy to interact with people online and to interact with them through their materials. But, if I had a chance to sit down with someone, sure, I wouldn't mind having tea with Benabel Wynn. She's been a huge impact on my study of the tarot for the last 2 years through Holistic Tarot and her 2 decks and her website and Tarot Readers Academy. And I've just learned so much from her. It would be nice to actually hear her voice in person once, maybe. But I also am looking forward to meeting Arwen Lynch, hopefully, at the Reader Studio. Arwen and I have the distinction of being the only 2 people to do a video with Laura Perry about her deck, the Minoan Tarot, which I thought was an odd coincidence. And I'm looking forward to meeting another Southern gal at that event. Day 26 was to share your tarot journal. So I've gone through the whole thing where you buy a book and then you start writing in it and then you forget about it. And I even had set up 5 books, one for each of the elements and one for the major arcana, and was recording things elementally. And I've probably only done 4 or 5 things in each of those books. And then I also do have the obligatory book where you condense all of your meanings into one for each card, so you number all 78 cards throughout the book. And I am actively working on that and building that because I'm putting the things in there that I want to be a part of the guidebook or little white book, whatever it turns out to be, for my deck, whether it ends up being self-published or I end up just putting it on a playing card site and printing it for myself. But I'm working at that, and so I'm writing those things in there. But what I find most useful for me as far as tarot journaling is I actually, and this has partly been about Wynn's fault as well, through working with the Metaphysician's Day Planner last year, is this year I bought a blank day planner, and it has plenty of space in it for other stuff as well. And I have been recording my spreads actually in the planner, so there's some other stuff in there too, but and then writing shorthand notes on some of them, and then on others I have longer hand notes, and it's been nice to be able to refer back to those readings repeatedly. And because I carry this planner with me, I always have those readings. Even if I didn't write out as much detail at that time, I still know the questions, I still know the cards, and my original thoughts. And I'll add more thoughts as time goes on. So I've decided that what works for me best is to just put that in the planner. And in the planner, I'm doing other stuff. Like you'll see where I have, since we're talking about it, I've started writing readings and learnings about the runes, which is one of the things I'm working on this year. I have a list in here of decks that I've purchased this year, and that is on my wish list. And I am sad to say that we are only a month in, and I already have 9 decks. 9 decks that I have either funded on Kickstarter or purchased. So, and almost all of these, so by March, I'll have 9 new decks. One of them doesn't come until September. So, and I feel bad about that. I really do, but not so much, right? Their Rider Waite is coming. The New Choice Tarot de Marseille is coming. Goblin Tarot is coming. Looking forward to those. But that's some of the things that I put in my tarot journal. I also have in here my Wheel of Correspondence, which I hoped at some point to do a video about, but this is my personal Wheel of Correspondence for the tarot, which I've developed over a long period of time and added new things periodically. And so that's what I'm now doing as a journal is my planner and just recording things in it. I hope that you guys have found any of this useful. It is always a joy to be able to post a new video. This is Rosemary again from Good Journeys Tarot. If you would like a reading or to check out my newest blog post, you can go to goodjourneystarot.com. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. Good journeys.